Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining. Good to see you guys. Hope you're all having a good morning and a good week so far. It's already Thursday, the week's almost over. All went quite quickly. USDJPY, I was looking at a USDJPY short around the same time as that USDCHF short, which I put in the Telegram, but you know, that one didn't manage to catch, kind of broke to the downside, and as I was looking at USDCHF, I kind of missed opportunity on USDJPY when it did break to the downside. You can see this one was a great trade. We were looking at this one earlier in the live stream, looking for shorts here to take this one back down into this support down here. And as you can see, we're almost there, So, yeah, well done for taking that short. It looks like it's going to hit TP hopefully later today. Same thing with USDCHF. We actually did hit TP, but I'm still actually holding on to this trade here. That was the area that we were targeting for USDCHF, but I'm actually still holding on to this position. I've already closed around 75%, so I've only got a little bit still running for this pair. But I think we can go for around 0.9100, so around this area here, another 20-30 pips to the downside, because looking at the DXY, it does look like this pair still does have some mileage to the downside coming into this support. So if the DXY is going to be weak, that means we can see more US dollar weakness in the market, which would help USDCHF going further to the downside. So yeah, holding on a little bit for USDCHF, see if we can get a little bit more to the downside, but otherwise it was a nice opportunity there to the downside. Pound USD still in this trade here. This one is looks like it's retracing. It's a little bit all over the place right now, so I'm still currently in the trade. My entry was around there. This one I did post on the Telegram there as well. And as you can see, the market is kind of just moving sideways here a little bit. I think we did run to the upside now, and the market's trying to turn bullish again, but you know, we'll find out as the day continues. But yeah, still holding on that pound position. You can see USDCHF worked a lot better than pound USD, so it's obviously telling us that CHF is a lot stronger than pound at the moment. But yeah, pound USD is still looking for those longs to the upside, and I still think if we can get some better price action around this, there could be some nice opportunities later on today. So if there is another opportunity to re-enter this, I will let you guys know. I will let you guys know in the Telegram as well if there's another opportunity, because this could fall to the downside, hit the stop loss, you know, whatever. We'll take the loss there, but if it starts to turn bullish again, it gives a nice entry. I will post it on the Telegram and let you guys know about that opportunity there, but you know, we'll see what the market wants to do. Yeah, I mean, I missed USDJPY and I got USDCHF, you know, and basically the other way around happened for you. So I mean, at the end of the day, at least you caught an entry on one pair and you're in profit, so that's all that matters really. Not really about the trades you missed, but you know, well done for catching that USDJPY short there. And yeah, well done to you too, Jermaine. Well done to you as well. Yeah, that was a good trade that we were looking at prior to that. So I think the live stream finished about an hour later. We had a nice nice breakout to the downside out of that consolidation there. And as you can see, we had that nice drop. So yeah, USDJPY, you can see on the daily chart a lot clearer than the hourly that, you know, what the market is doing here. We had a nice dump to the downside, breaking through some key levels of structure, taking out some blows. We've pulled back up to this area here, you know, price support. Also got a nice area of supply there. We've rejected that area, and now we're just seeing the follow through to the downside. So there's a good chance we'll probably see some new lows for USDJPY. I'm not sure if this is just going to be a complete reversal. We're going to see price come all the way back to these lows. You know, we'll gradually see that happen, and we'll gain more confidence that, you know, price can come back to those lows. But so far, yeah, I do think we can see a completion of that pullback and a new low past that point. Price might find support around here and go back up again or whatever, depending what we see with the dollar index, where we start to see a bit more strength coming in, or we see more weakness. So that will kind of determine, also with the yen as well, but that will determine what price wants to do for USDJPY. But yeah, like I said, great shorts for there to the downside. and same thing with the UCC chef as well, kind of the same trade really because it happened at the same time, and as you can see we had a nice move to the downside there. So great trades there. Pound USD is taking its time. Euro USD is looking very strong, as you can see here. We were looking at Euro USD round here, wondering if you can see another push to the upside. Again, DXY did look like it was going to take a dump, so you know the odds were Euro USD was going to push up back into this resistance was quite good. It still hasn't quite got there yet, so I'm still seeing more upside for Euro USD and more upside for more downside actually for the DXY. So DXY more downside, which means more upside for Euro USD. So I still can see the pair coming to here. Whether we break through that or not too sure. If we can break through this resistance, then I move back up to 1.19500 does look really good just to fill in that range. But for now, you know, the market did close quite bullish there, so I'm seeing more upside for Euro USD. Maybe a bit of retracement is needed after that big push, but I think we can go and hit that resistance there. Euro NZD. I haven't looked at that pair. Let's see what's happening with Euro NZD. Okay, so yeah, Euro NZD is starting to push up to the upside. Yeah, I was favouring some long opportunities, but I didn't like the daily close with this one actually. On that daily candle there, so I had this trend line here. I didn't like how it closed back below, so that's why I was leaving Euro NZD alone. I was favouring some nice long opportunities back up into that area there, but yeah, I just didn't like that daily close, so I just left the pair. But I can see the market is coming to this area quite nicely, and now it's starting to push to the upside. So Euro NZD might see a nice push back up to here. I'll probably but maybe take some partials around there, because you know price support and time resistance, and the market might just want to fill all this gap to the downside, because you just have that straight drop, so the market might want to go fill that before maybe continuing, or maybe continue to the upside. We'll see what the market wants to do, but right now it looks like a good trade there. Price has definitely found support here. It's rejecting it, and the most logical place we expect price to go is probably that support now term resistance there. So it's like a good opportunity in that one, but I wasn't too confident about the daily close, so that's why I stayed away from the pair. Yeah, I'm currently in pound USD long trade right now, the past couple of days now actually. Yeah, so I'm currently in a pound USD trade for a couple of days now. I'm looking at a move back up to 1.4 up there. The market's come back down into this area of support, so I was looking for a bounce off this area and see if we can get another move to go and fill in this range back up to 1.4. Seems to as the market seems to be giving us these higher lows. So we've got this low here, higher low there, and potentially a higher low there. So the market's kind of trying to trend to the upside, so I'm trying to go with that structure there and see if we can get another jump back up to 1.4. As of right now, the market's finding some difficulties, finding some resistance. You can see we've got a little bit of a trend line here in the market there. So yeah, currently long on GBUSD, so you can get moved up to 1.4. If the market does violate that low there, I'll probably just exit the trade or hit my stop loss anyway. But yeah, try and see if the market can find some support, find some momentum to the upside. But yeah, I'm currently in some longs with this pair. Got in a couple of days ago after the news got back in after the nice rejection, and now yeah, we'll kind of just see some sideways action. So we'll see what pound USD wants to do later today, but hopefully we can see another push higher up if we do see a bit more weakness in the dollar. But yeah, the pound is quite weak at the moment, so we'll see what happens with there. Sell on Euro USD, so we're going that pair. I'm assuming that's 1.1833, so around there. I'm saying your entry is around here, and a stop loss 1.185. So not too far away. I mean, I can see why you probably would go for a short here for Euro USD, because again we still do have a bearish trend there. Jermaine, we still do have a bearish trend, so the market is making lower lows, lower highs, pushing to the downside. The only reason, well, we still could actually see a move to the downside, not necessarily back to these lows, but we could see a move to the downside because we've had this bullish run here. The market's come into an area of supply there. Also, price support around here, now turn resistance as well. So we can see some downside, in the pullback or whatever. But yeah, it's just from the DXY for me, it looks like the market's quite bearish here. You can see if that closed there on the hourly, that closed in the 4H as well. I personally wouldn't go against the DXY basically. So if the DXY looks like it's bearish, then Euro USD inversely correlated should be going to the upside. So it's a little bit dodgy on that terms, but I can see why you'd go short on that. And again, it does make sense that we're at resistance there in the market, support term resistance, and also the market is overall still bearish. So it didn't make sense, but at the end of the day, you're not going to win every trade. My pound USD trade seems to be having a mind of its own right now. So kind of in the same place as you right now. You got drawdown on your USD. I'm in a bit of a drawdown, I'm pretty sure, on pound USD as well. So we'll see what happens with these pairs, but yeah, it just looks like DXY wants to see a bit more weakness, so that's why I went short Euro USD. Hey William, what you saying? How are you? Hope you are doing well. That pound CAD trade of yours seems to still trying to be pushing up. It's finding some resistance though, so I can still see some more upside for this pair, but yeah, it's starting to struggle. The news yesterday gave it a bit of a, well, it didn't really do anything. It kind of spiked down, spike up again, really. So it didn't really give too much direction. But yeah, I still do believe pound CAD's going to the upside. I mean, with these wicks here, we might see a dive first and then the continuation. But yeah, depending on where your stop loss is or where you're at break even, I think we can see more upside. I mean, we're almost wicked into 1.4 anyway, so we might be finding some resistance to come back down, but I still do see more upside for pound CAD. Okay, 6%, that's not bad. That's decent. Yeah, might as well. I mean, if you're up 6%, 100%. If you can't, if you already hit 6% and it's not even Friday yet, yeah, 100%. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trading for freedom. If you don't have to do anything Friday, then take Friday off. I mean, depending on how my USD CHF trade works out, I'll probably leave Friday alone as well. GJ head and shoulder, yeah, I did see that for pound JPY. Where's pound JPY? So yeah, we did see that head and shoulder there on the hourly, which actually was a quite good setup. Actually, you can see there, nice spike up, spike back down, came back to that neckline, pushed up again into this kind of area of resistance, rejected that area, broke through the neckline, then we saw the continuation back down. So pound JPY is looking quite bearish, which is not good for pound USD, to be fair, well, for me anyway. But yeah, pound JPY is looking quite bearish. It looks like we're going to come back into these areas here. We do have support around here. Price might want to come back into, or potentially even these lows here, because we do have to remember that pound JPY is still overly bearish in the higher time frames. Not like long term, but this structure here is still quite bearish. We're still pushing to the downside, having those pullbacks. So it does look like the market, especially after a shooting star candle closure down the daily, we're seeing the follow through today. I can see the price coming back to 151,500 or even 151 potentially. So yeah, we are looking quite bearish there for GJ. We'll see what happens at that support and that support. But yeah, that was definitely a good opportunity to go short. I thought GJ was going to continue slightly higher, come and test this resistance up here, but as you can see, we didn't quite manage that. We had a nice doji there on the 4H, and then on the hourly we saw that conviction to the downside. So that was a good opportunity, but again, still caught some other trades. So happy days, really. AUD USD, this pair is starting to move a little bit sideways now, so Going on the 4H, it looks like the market is trying to give us our higher low potential. You can see we are falling to the downside overall. The market's had a push, pullback, push, pullback, push. And as you can see, we're kind of having this consolidation here. It's either the market is trying to push down again or give us that higher low. You can see here we found support there really nice. So this could be retracement for another continuation back up again. But because it's just so messy, I'll probably just leave AUD USD alone for now and look for other opportunities later on. But if you do find support again around there, where the market is trading around now, I'll probably be looking for buying opportunities potentially, because if I do zoom out back into the 4H, we do have this channel here. If I connect these lows and these highs up here, we can potentially still find support, see a really nice push to the upside on the 4H back into that trend line, which will probably be a nice buying opportunity there. And of course, if you do see that dollar weakness, hopefully that'll give that trade an extra kick to the upside. Of course, AUD will play a big role whether we see a move to the upside or not. But if this is potentially a higher low there, if we do pull back, find support there in the lower time frames, I do see some nice buying opportunities there for AUD/USD back into that trend line, or maybe into that resistance, depending how much bullish momentum we do see. But yeah, more upside for AUD/USD. Gold, for this pair, we actually had a really nice bullish run to the upside. We were expecting to see gold have this bullish run to the upside from yesterday. I was looking for buying opportunities for gold, but like I did say yesterday, if we don't see that pullback, I won't get involved in the trade. And sadly, we did not see that pullback. I was looking for price to come back and retest that area there, give us a nice double bottom, a bit more confirmation, because looking at gold for that time being was really messy, and I wasn't too sure about the trade. Even though I was fairly confident that gold was going to have that breakout to the upside, I wasn't really confident taking that trade. So I wanted to see price come back, retest there, give me a little bit more confirmation, then I'll get involved. But as you can see, we didn't really get that pullback. We did get a slight one, but not enough that I was looking for. And then we had that big move to the upside. So gold's still looking bullish, and I still think we can see more upside for this pair. If I go into the daily, I can still see price coming back into this sort of area around the 1850. So for now, gold's still very bullish. I can see gold coming up into here, and I think from there we'll probably see some nice selling opportunities to take gold back down again. Probably back into this area consolidation, probably that would be some nice shorts. So yeah, looking for shorting opportunities for gold. Still a little bit of a way to go before I get interested in it, but yeah, shorting opportunities for gold look good now. Missed the longs, hopefully can get some shorts from around here, take that back down again. But yeah, gold's still bullish, and I'm still seeing a bit more upside for that pair right now. I normally just set my risk reward based on the support and the resistance that I'm looking to trade between. So if I have a trade needs to be a 3-to-1, so then if it has to go past the resistance, I'll still be using that 3-to-1, even though it might reject at that resistance and turn against me. I normally base my risk reward on support and resistance, but I do make sure that it's worthwhile. So for me, it has to be at least a 3 or 4 to 1. Sometimes if I'm really confident about the trade, I might take it slightly less and use a little bit less position size, but normally for me it has to be at least a 3 or a 4 risk reward, to make it worthwhile. Like the pound USD trade, I'm only using 50% of how much. The risk reward wasn't that good, so I did reduce some of my position there, but normally 3 to 4 is what I look for, and yeah, I base it on support and resistance rather than just having a solid 3-to-1 or 4-to-1. Yeah, same, looking for the opportunity for gold. I mean, sad that missed opportunity, because it is a nice bullish run to the upside. You can see the market was just consolidating, all around this area, getting ready for that big bullish run to the upside. And after we saw that nice wick to the downside here, I believe that was on Monday, maybe. Monday, yeah, I think Monday. After we saw that nice wick to the downside, after that, I pretty much knew gold was going to break to the the break to the upside, because that was literally just the liquidity grab, and the market was going to see a move to the upside. And we had similar price action not too long ago here, as you can see here. Had that consolidation, and then we see a nice spike to the downside, the liquidity grab, price comes back in, bit of retracement, and then we get the big blast to the upside. So we basically kind of had that price action pretty much just again over here, slightly different, obviously it's not going to be perfectly identical, but yeah, had that spike to the downside, and after that I was fairly confident we're going to see a break to the upside. Just didn't retrace enough for me to get involved, but yeah, hopefully you can get some nice short opportunities from around here. You know, you can see nice area of supply as well, big candle to the downside. So from here I am seeing some downside for gold. I'm not saying we're going to reverse, but I am seeing some downside for gold. But yeah, just have to be a little bit patient, wait for price to come into here. It might mess around here, retrace a little bit, then come up. But you know, gold can do whatever it wants, but when it gets there, hopefully you can see some nice shorting opportunities. Oil sell yesterday. Okay, let's see what happened to oil. Oh wow, oil collapsed. I remember we were talking about oil around here, saying if we can break through that support, we'll obviously a lot more downside there. It looks like we had a bit of a spike to the upside first, and then the collapse to the downside. So yeah, oil very big move to the downside. Did not see that coming, to be fair. Did not see that coming, but yeah, massive move to the downside. Took out all these levels that I was looking at as well. We were quite bearish over here, and I did say as long as we hold into that resistance, more downside. And it looks like we had a bit of a false break of that area, and then we had the drop. But yeah, nice trade there, William. There did not see that at all, but yeah, great drop there on oil. Okay, yeah, I had no idea. To be fair, I don't really keep up with the fundamentals on oil, so I did not know that, to be fair. But yeah, that's a very big drop there to the downside. Also had a bit of a false break of that resistance there as well, and the market came straight back down. But yeah, great trade there to the downside. If we take a look at some of the other USD pairs, because USD currently still no shorts, pound USD still no longs, but you know, no idea what's going to happen with that. We'll find out. Stop losses there. If it comes down, it comes down. If it goes up, it goes up. But if you do get another opportunity to get involved, I will let you guys know on the Telegram, so make sure you do check that out. USD CAD for this pair. Again, we were affected with the CAD news for this pair. We were biased to the downside. We did see a nice drop, but then the CAD news came in, and as you can see, quick reversal, spike to the downside, manipulate those lows, and then a big push back up again. So USD CAD from a daily point of view is still looking quite bullish. You know, we've had that big push, pullback, push, nice wick to the downside there. So I'm going to need a little bit more development there for me to get interested in some USD CAD sells. But if it does happen, then I can see USD CAD coming back into this support and maybe even further. We do have this trend line here as well, which I was looking for USD CAD to come back into. I still am as well. Still am looking for USD CAD to come back and test that trend line, but it's looking a little bit too bullish there. It's a nice 4H candle close, but it's looking a little bit too bullish for me there. So yeah, I'll probably be a little bit more patient for this one. Maybe see if we can get a break of this support here, which is kind of holding price right now, and maybe a break of that, come back in lower high or a retest, and then the drop to the downside. I might look to get involved in that. But USD CAD, I can see some more downside, but we'll stay on the sidelines a little bit to see if we can get a better opportunity coming in. Yeah, I haven't actually checked the news today, so let's see what's going on. So yeah, we did have that pound news earlier. We have AUD news last night. And we do have, pound news, only medium though, so maybe not too much impact for that one. We do have a lot of USD news coming out later, some jobless claims as well, high impact in around 3 hours from now. And we got some more USD news as well in about 4 hours from now as well. So got some USD news coming out later today, high impact as well. So if you are in any USD trades, maybe try and take some risk off or get your stop loss to break even, because we could see that affect some trades there later on today. So could be seeing some momentum in the markets today, especially with this USD news coming out. And we do have NZD as well later tonight as well. But yeah, we've been seeing a lot of news events come in this week and really cause big spikes, big shifts in momentum, which is good and bad, because if it goes in a direction, happy days, goes against you, nightmare. But that is trading. So far it's been alright, to be fair. My FX book says it's medium. What is it? High impact on another page, Forex Factory. Because my FX book says it's medium impact. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I can understand why they would. Well, I mean, we'll find out in like 30 minutes. We'll find out to see the impact of the market. So yeah, if anyone is in any pound pairs as well, make sure you take a look at that. Maybe take some profit off the table, but yeah. Okay, so it's high in Forex Factory. And we did have some pound news earlier as well, which is probably why pound USD has done what it's done. Nice spike to the upside, spike back down again. So a little bit all over the shop, but we'll see if we can get some more clarity later on for this pair. Again, if anyone's in any pairs or looking at any different pairs, wants an opinion, or interested in trading a pair later on today or tomorrow, let us know. Drop it down in the comments. We'll take a look at it. We'll see what's going on with that pair. If you're in any trades at the moment, feel free to share. We'll take a look at them, see what's going on. I'm going to take a look at some of the JPY pairs. So we already looked at USD JPY. A nice big push to the downside, which was expected. Missed opportunity. I know some people did manage to catch that, but missed opportunity on that breakout. Was more focused on USD CHF. Pound JPY we went over as well. I think for this pair we could be seeing maybe a push to the upside, coming into these key levels of support in the 4H. So if I do zoom out, you can see really nice area of support there. Big move to the upside, and now we're coming back into that same area after a bit of a false break of that same area. So I want to see what price does there, which is around 1500. If we can hold it, then I can see some upside for pound JPY. If we break through, then I think price is coming back to these lows and probably give us a new low there as well. So Depending on what price wants to do with that support, I think there could be some nice buying opportunities for pound JPY depending what we do there. But if we do break through, then yeah, probably some new lows and price might go a lot further. Euro JPY, this one's still looking bearish, but it's definitely starting to run out of steam. As you can see, we are still falling to the downside, making lower lows, lower highs. You can see on the low time frames. But yeah, in the 4H, we're starting to run out of steam. You can see these wicks to the downside, 1, 2, 3. So the market is starting to give us some support there. We might be seeing a bit of retracement to the upside, but the market for this one is still very bearish on the higher time frames. You can see daily looking bearish there, 4H bearish as well, hourly still bearish. But yeah, because we are running out of steam, we might be seeing some upside first, and then maybe see some downside for Euro JPY after that. But yeah, overall Euro JPY is still looking bearish, and we potentially might see some new lows as well if that price action does keep up. I've been trading for just over 3 years now. Yeah, so just over 3 years I've been trading. CHF JPY, this one's still looking quite strong actually. Again, we did expect to see some more upside this week for CHF JPY, because looking on the daily time frame, we did see a massive drop to the downside there a few weeks ago now, and we failed to make a lower low past that point. You can see we had a nice spike to the downside there, nice spike to the downside, but failed to make a new low. So it is a sign that the market potentially might reverse. And now we've had a push to the upside, and now it's starting to stall. So if the market can hold this support, which so far does look like it's doing, as you can see with all those wicks there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wicks to the downside, and a very strong close to the upside there in the 4H. So with that shift in momentum, I can see some upside, back into these highs up there. And then if we can make a higher high, then I think we can see a lot more upside for CHF JPY. This resistance here will be a target, and also this price support up here will be turned resistance as well. Excuse me. We'll be turning it resistance as well. So yeah, I can see it move back into that area, which is around 121,500. So CHF is starting to look good for buys for this pair, and again I can see price going a lot further for this one. So buying opportunities on the lower time frames will be great in terms of the risk reward for this one as well. CAD JPY for this one looking very bearish. You can see for this one we did get sort of another head and shoulders similar to Euro JPY when we did not Euro JPY, pound JPY, sorry. You can see pound JPY, nice head and shoulders there, and CAD JPY seems to have given us a similar price action. If I go to the hourly time frame, you can see a nice spike down, come up again, spike down, come up again, retest that resistance there, rejected it and collapsed to the downside. So a really nice head and shoulders textbook price action there, and now we've collapsed to the downside. So overall, this pair is still looking quite bearish here, again from the higher time frames. I think we have seen a daily close back below this point here, which is kind of the support that I said if price can stay above, we'll probably see a lot more upside for CAD JPY. But as you can see, we've closed back below it now. So I think CAD JPY might be turning bearish again. We might be seeing a little bit more to the downside for this pair. We do have this grey area of support here. Nice support, nice move to the upside, dip below, liquidity grab back above. Big move to the upside, so we could potentially just fill this range into the downside and come and test the support again potentially. If that's the case, great move to the downside because we are looking quite bearish. So yeah, if we can stay below that, come back, retest it, great shorting opportunities back down to that 86-200 area potentially for that pair. So yeah, a lot more downside I can see for CAD JPY if that does stay below 88-200. ADJPY, similar thing here as well. Price is falling to the downside as well. We've had a rejection of that resistance and starting to fall. So for ADJPY, if you keep up that momentum, I can see another move back into that support on the daily down there, which is around 81,500. So any pullbacks really for this pair do look good. Nice break of this support. It looks like we just had the retest of that area. So price can stay below 82, 100, reject that area. I think we do have some nice shorting opportunities on the lower time frames, back down to that 81,500 mark, or maybe even further. But clearly the market is bearish here, so don't really want to be looking for buying opportunities just yet. Maybe around here if we do see some nice rejection, but pretty much only selling opportunities there for AUDJPY to the downside. And I would imagine the similar thing for NZDJPY. You can see for this one as well, found a little bit more strength because we did have that bullish news for NZD early on this week, big move to the upside, and as you can see we did clear those highs, and now we're starting to come back down again. We've moved back into this area of supply, really nice move to the downside, tapped into it, and we're starting to see the market sell off again. So I think we do have a little bit of a counter trend line here for NZDJPY, which if we can break might mean some good selling opportunities for this pair. As you can see, nice push, pullback, push from that news, so a break of that does look really good for some shorts. Maybe even a double top there, that'll be good in terms of the risk reward as well. But yeah, a break of that, downside, retest, continuation, or anything like that, looks great for selling opportunities back down to these lows. Unless we start creating some higher highs, then probably relook at it again, reanalyze the pair. But yeah, more shorts for NZJPY if we can get some more retracement. No, I only stream Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday every week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 a.m. GMT to 12 p.m. GMT. So those are my streaming times. Pretty much catching the end of the London session, basically. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at pound JPY. So yeah, pound JPY, like I said, for this one, more downside for this pair, coming into that support, and if we can hold that, then I'm seeing some nice buying opportunities. But if not, then the market might collapse and go a lot further, maybe even hit 150. So pound JPY clearly looking very bearish here in the 4H after giving us that head and shoulders earlier on yesterday. So yeah, coming back into this support, which does line up with this big move to the upside, so it does have a lot of impact behind it, and we did see a bit of a false break of that earlier. So yeah, if we can hold this support, then I do see some nice buying opportunities to the upside and see a nice test, maybe 153 up there. So yeah, looking for buys around here, see if we can hold into that, and then a buying opportunity there, or if not, if you do break through that, we might be seeing more downside. So that's what I'm looking at for pound JPY. Yeah, for USDCHF, I only entered one position for that one, and I just take profit off that same position manually. So just manually close it. You could use 2-3 positions or whatever to take partials off. It's probably easier to do that actually, to use multiple positions and then just take off those positions as price continues in your direction. But me, I've always just used one position and then take off profit from that, on the app. Yeah, that's what I do. No, yeah, I normally take off as I go, but I just got the trade up right now. So for USDCHF, when the trade passed this support here, in the market around there of those wicks, I took off around 20% of my position there, and then when we got down to the kind of the TP area, but not TP because I'm still in the trade, but to this area here, I took around 70-75% of my trade. So most of my position has already been taken off. I've only got about 20-25% remaining. See if we can go fill that gap to the downside back down to 0.9. 0.91, but yeah, I took 75% around there and about 20% around there. So yeah, I just set targets beforehand when I enter the trade, and only taking around 20% at the time, but when it hits that, this is kind of like, it was my TP, but then after seeing the momentum, I did start to add a little bit more. So I knew that price will probably go a little bit further, so that's why I took most of my profit off and still got a bit remaining. But yeah, I normally take about 20% at the time. And no, I don't normally trail my stops though. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is starting to grow. To be fair, and I'm liking the sound of that. I remember the days when it was just 4 or 5 people at a time, but now it's actually 20 people. So that's great to see. That's great to see. And yeah, feel free to leave likes if you're enjoying the content or finding it useful. It does mean a lot. But yeah, it's starting to see some growth now, which is good, and hopefully it can continue. So yeah, if you're liking the content, you're liking what you're seeing, feel free to hit the like button if you want, and subscribe if you haven't already as well. I do live stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT. So kind of like the end of the London session, stroke getting to the beginning of the New York session. Thank you, Jermaine. Does mean a lot. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you for that like. US 30 was starting to see some downside for this pair. Yeah, I was actually expecting US 30 to give us some new highs not too long ago after we saw that big move to the upside after the wick to the downside. Was expecting to see some new highs past this wick over here. As you can see, we quite did manage that. Price did come close but has pulled back down it and is starting to turn a little bit bearish. So we might be seeing some downside for US 30. It's still overly bullish. But yeah, we might be seeing a slightly deeper pullback before price does continue. Yeah, I still am bullish on the US 30, but we're starting to stall there, so we might see price come into this area here. It's really wicked near that area, but we might see wick a little bit further into this area, and then see some more continuation to the upside there. But I still think we can see a break of those highs. For US 30, I can still see a break of those highs, but we might see price pull back a little bit more first and then see the continuation later on. But yeah, price is looking a little bit bearish now, so we might see a bit more pullback first before we do see that continuation. But yeah, still quite bullish for the US 30. Nasdaq, we're still seeing price continue to the upside here. As you can see, the market is still very bullish here. Again, if you're just looking at buying the pullbacks for this pair, you should really be in the money here, because price has just been forming really healthy pullbacks for quite some time. This is a 4H chart, so even just using the hourly be a great entry to see price push pullback. So it's starting to lose a bit of momentum now. As you can see, the pullbacks are getting a bit tighter, so we might be seeing a bigger dip in price soon, but the market is still very bullish and just still continuing to the upside. So buying the pullbacks on that would have been a great strategy for that period there. Going on the daily, you can see we had a breakout of that trend line there as well, the retest and the continuation much higher. So yeah, price is still very bullish here and might still continue, but I can see price take a breather soon and then maybe continue back again. Yeah, I purely trade mainly FX. I do trade some commodities, don't really trade indices. I do keep up my analysis for those pairs, but yeah, I don't really trade it. Just mainly stick with FX because that normally what works best for me, so I don't normally veer away from that. Even though price action is price action, yeah, I normally just trade FX and gold. No, it does not highlight order blocks. It's just normally support and resistance. It sometimes lines up with order blocks though, so kind of like shows support and resistance in the areas where order blocks are, but it's not made to highlight order blocks. Do you mean the pairs that I'm looking at to trade today? But to be fair, I'm not really looking at any pairs to get involved just yet, because I'm currently in 2 trades at this moment in time. Shorts in USDCHF and longs in pound USD. And yeah, so I want to see at least one of them, exit the trade completely before I look to enter into any more trades. I know USDCHF is quite nice in profit, and hopefully we can get price to hit that 0.91 mark, but pound USD is still kind of flirting with my entry price. So yeah, not really looking at any pairs really to trade. I know pound JPY might give a nice buying opportunity if we can hold this area, so I might be looking at that. USD CAD as well, looking at for some potential shorts for this one, back down into that support and back down into that trend line, but I want to see a break of that support first, because if we can get a break of that support, I can see a lot more downside. EuroCAD, actually EuroCAD is something that I'm looking at, but again, I probably won't take the trade if I don't have either pound USD or USDCHF completely closed out. But for this one, I can start to see a lot more upside for this one. You can see for quite a long time we've just been consolidating, moving sideways, and I think it's time for price to start to break to the upside for this one. Hopefully. You can see recently quite a big move to the upside after dipping down, taking out some stop losses below that support, and now we've seen a nice pullback potentially. So the market is potentially forming a higher low here, and I want to see that continue back into the highs of that wick and continue further. So that is a nice opportunity what I'm looking for EuroCAD, and as you can see there, CAD news really did help this pair push to the upside. So for now, I want to see a bit of retracement to the downside. Give us another higher low potentially, and then take this back up, and then aiming for these highs up there. So if I wasn't in 2 trades at this moment in time, I think EuroCAD is probably the pair I would be focusing on for long opportunities to see price reach back at those highs around 1.49 or maybe even further. But yeah, EuroCAD is probably the pair I would be focusing on, and definitely after this big push, breaking through that structure there, breaking through this trend line here as well. So buys do look good for EuroCAD, but I want to see a bit of retracement first, especially after the news hit. Want to see a bit of retracement, form a higher low, maybe in the lower time frames, and then get involved and see if you can take that trade higher back to those highs. This one, however, it might take into next week to do that, because it is Thursday already, and unless we see a lot of strength coming back in, it might take until next week. But yeah, if I wasn't in second trade, I'll be focusing on longs for EuroCAD. Yeah, CAD is linked quite closely with oil. Normally, they correlate quite well, which we have seen recently, to be fair. Second-hand happiness. Love to see that, William. Love to see that. I mean, hopefully one day we can see 200 people on the live stream, but till that day comes, we're happy to see 20 people. Very, very happy to see 20 people. Yeah, we'll see the impact of that news now for the pound, which is coming out in a few minutes now. So yeah, I'm currently in pound USD right now, so we'll see what happens to that pair. We'll see what happens to that pair. I mean, my stop loss is around 50 pips from where price is currently, so Hopefully I should be alright, but you know, we'll see what happens. Or potentially price, it might give price a kickstart in my direction. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I mean, I'll see what price is giving to me beforehand, before that news. I mean, if price, because price right now is probably about 75-80% of the way to hit my TP. If it's moved another 10%, it's only got 10% remaining, I probably won't risk it and probably just close the trade anyway. If it price has pulled back and pulled back to, you know, to around this area here, so the market finds a bit of strength, pulls back to this area here, I might just hold that position out, see what happens, because the news might give it the extra strength to see more downside, and go and hit that TP. But if it does fall and, you know, it's about 10% or 15% away from my TP, then yeah, I'll probably close it to that. But you know, it just depends what price action we get from now and then. We do have quite a lot of time. A lot of movement can happen between now and the USD news. You might see price continue, might pull back or whatever. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, I will be holding pound USD through the news. I wasn't planning to exit the trade because of the news, so yeah, I will be planning to hold on to it. If it comes down and takes my stop loss, it does that. I mean, UCCHF, I mean, nice profit there. So you know, the profit of that would probably, as long as it doesn't pull back all the way, you know, it's most likely going to cover the loss of pound USD if it does hit if it does hit stop loss. So it doesn't really matter too much. It doesn't really matter too much because the profit of UCCHF will cover the loss of pound USD, which is why I do focus on risk reward a lot, because in this situation it does really help, and it's what keeps me profitable as well. I mean, we'll see the news in like 5 seconds now or something. So we'll see. I'll go in the low time frames to see what type of news we get. Actually, a bit too low. Thank you, thank you. I mean, it's not my first rodeo, to be fair. It's not my first rodeo, so hopefully we can see some magic happen. But you know, whatever happens, happens. To be fair, this is not really looking like a medium impact event. Normally medium impact, you barely see anything happen. So we are getting some movement there. So yeah, it does justify more of a high impact news. But yeah, we are seeing some upside, but you know, I'll probably wait for that candle to close, you know, to fully confirm, as I don't want price, you know, push up and then it pulls all the way back and close bearish and keeps going down. Seen that happen many times. I mean, that's exactly what happened with pound CAD really. Price was looking very, very bearish there, and it pulled all the way back up and actually shot to the upside with that CAD news, with that big wick there. But yeah, pound is pushing up, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, exactly. I mean, what my FX put medium impact, and that is not medium impact. So it looked like James, you got it right then by saying it was high impact. To be fair, because that is definitely high impact. Yeah, I mean this week we've seen a lot of big news events coming out. I mean it's been quite dry recently. We've been seeing some big news events here and there, but this week we've seen a lot of momentum coming to the markets. NZD, pound, USD. Seeing a lot of movements, CAD as well. But yeah, let me take a look at the rest of the pound pair. So pound CAD, that pair is pushing up. Again, we still have that upside bias for pound CAD. We reckon it can get to 1.74 sooner or later. It is having a hard time moving up, but still biased to the upside back to 1.74. Then from there, might see some nice selling opportunities back down again, but still expecting more upside there. Next one, take a look at pound USD. Already seen pound USD. Pound JPY pushing to the upside. This one I wanted to come down a little bit more for some buying opportunities. I said that area of support be a nice place to look for buys for pound JPY if we can come back there. But as you can see, the news is taking this one up, so it looks like we might have just missed out on that opportunity, or we could pull back down. So don't want to speak too soon. But yeah, it is looking quite strong, of course. Pound NZD pushing to the upside quite well. So it looks like the market's definitely found support here and is struggling to push down. So it does look like we're finding some nice momentum to the upside. It looks like pound so far is definitely bullish. Pound AUD pushed to the upside very aggressively there as well. Looking very strong, failing to break through that support, which I did expect price to actually do. I was expecting pound AUD to break through that support, but as you can see, the pound news is pushing that to the upside. And yeah, that is definitely a high impact. That is definitely high impact. There's no way that's medium. Pound GBP pulling to the downside, has come back to retest that resistance up there. So yeah, that pair is looking good with structure. Push, pull back, push, retest that resistance. A bit of a double top there, 1-2, and now we're seeing that momentum coming to the downside. So yeah, looking quite bearish there. And yeah, that's pretty much all the pound pairs. Pound CHF pushing to the upside there. This one's come back down, tapped into this area here. Kind of nice area of demand there. Tapped into it. Now we're seeing some upside. And obviously the news is helping that out. So yeah. Yeah, so overall, good for pound then. And good for my pound USD trade. What's USD-CHF saying? USD-CHF starting to pull back a little bit, which was expected after that big push to the downside. But yeah, we'll see what USD-CHF is looking like before the news, depending whether I'll hold on to that trade as well. Again, don't want to push the luck too much, but yeah, if it's looking very bearish and prices collapsed, it's almost the way to those lows. And I probably won't sit through the news. But if it's pulled back quite a lot, come back into this resistance up here, then yeah, I'll probably sit through the news and see if we can take us back down again. Okay, so James, I'm taking that you're the fundamentals expert here, because you clearly do. I mean, you're probably not doing anything groundbreaking, but you certainly know more than me about the fundamentals. Around 38 pips so far. Might be a bit more, but so far 38 pips. So it's a fairly big push. Definitely not medium impact though. Definitely not medium. But yeah, still eye on some USD CAD shorts, but I think Euro CAD will probably be the best opportunity going into late on the week. Again, it might not reach those highs up there, so maybe have some targets below hand like this resistance here. But yeah, if you can form a higher low somewhere, maybe around there, that would be a great opportunity back into that resistance up there. So yeah, if I can close pound USD or USD CHF beforehand, then we'll be looking at Euro CAD longs, either Thursday, well today is Thursday, either today or Friday, and I probably will be sitting in it through the weekend, but that's only if I can get out of pound USD or USD CHF by then. Was expecting more. I mean, we still see a little bit more, to be fair. I mean, we are still seeing more, still pushed on. I'm pretty sure it has. Yeah, it's around 44 pips now. So yeah, we could still see more happen there. I mean, we've seen that momentum there in the 4H. So I reckon a break of that trend line could take us all the way up to 1.4 up there. So that is what I'm looking like for pound USD. I'm not sure if we'll do this by the end of the week. We only got Thursday, Friday left, unless we see some strong pound or a really weak dollar. I'm not sure that happens, so I might have to be staying of this in this trade over the weekend. But yeah, I mean, especially if that momentum is seeing off that news, it does look like a good trade, and a break of that trend line would be a great. Will be great. Which will be great if it happened. Unless you're selling pound USD. But yeah, more upside for pound hopefully. UCHF hopefully more downside, a bit in retracement mode. UCJPY again looks like it's pushing to the upside a little bit. Again, I wouldn't be too worried about this one because again the momentum is very much to the downside. You can see we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive bearish candles there for UCJPY to the downside. You know, we are due some retracement. I still think we can see push back down to 109,600, 109,500, maybe some new lows, but you know, price might want to do a little bit of a push up first, mess around, maybe spike up and then come down. So we do need to see that retracement for price to be a little bit more healthy there, because we have seen a lot of bearish momentum there. So a bit of retracement back up again and then price come down, and similar thing for UCCHF is probably going to happen as well. So yeah, more downside for those two pairs, but for now I think we're in retracement mode, and I don't think it's panic stations just yet. Yeah, news is definitely crazy. And you can just think every time a news event like that happens, accounts blown up, which is quite crazy as well. So yeah, pound is definitely strong across the board here. Now if you can see that continue a little bit further, but yeah, it's looking good for that trade. At the start of the day, it was looking not good for me for pound USD, especially after that strong bearish candle there. I was thinking stop loss here, but then price said no. I've got a speech for you that's coming out soon, and it has sorted me out there. So yeah, break of that trend line is still what I'm looking for, because price could still reject that trend line and come back down again. We are still making those lower highs. So if we can get a breakout of that trend line, that'll be great. But if we don't, it might leak back down again. So we'll be waiting for that to happen. Nice, yeah. Euro USD, like I said, Euro USD is due some downside there. You know, we've had a very big push to the upside. The market is overly bearish. You know, we can see some downside, even though I still think the market's coming back into this resistance here. I can still see some downside first, form another higher low potentially somewhere around there, or maybe even further down, and then price come back up again, because DXY still does look bearish here, but it might mess around first. You can see here for the DXY, when it came down over here, we had this big bearish candle to the downside, and then price went up again, you know, retraced and then continued. So we could still see something like that happen for the DXY before it does come back down again, which does mean Euro USD should have its opportunity to come down, see some downside before coming up again. And the importance of that, of your stop loss in that trade was quite big, because if you had your stop loss too tight, you would have been stopped out, you lost the trade, and then the market would now have gone against you. So stop losses probably more important than entry as well. So yeah, a lot of people overlook their stop loss, but stop loss is probably more important than your entry, because if that's in the wrong place, and the markets, you know, they do have random moves, they can move around before moving in direction, and you can take a lot of losses before, you know, you eventually catch a move, even though most of them, you know, you predicted the right outcome. So stop loss very important, and it's come in very nicely for you there. So well done on that. And I think we can see a little bit more downside, because it looks like we're seeing a little bit of dollar strength. So yeah, especially when we come back into this area here, you know, price support, resistance, tap into that. Maybe you can see a nice downside moment and then some upside later on. So looks like a good opportunity there. Short-term shorts on Euro USD. Ends the USD, again another USD pair. This one massive move to the upside. Of course, that was the New Zealand dollar news that we had on early in the week. Bullish for NZD, big move to the upside, breaking through that resistance. I can still see a bit more upside for this pair though. We might come down, mess around for a bit, give a higher low, and then come up again, but I can still see more upside for NZD USD. You can still see we're rejecting this support really well. So this support all across here, reject that really well, 1, 2, 3, and now we're actually seeing price break through that double top there. So yeah, I can see more upside for NZD, but we might be in a bit of retracement mode first, which is okay, because it just gives us a nice opportunity to get back in the trade if you weren't there already, or to add more trades in if you look at the scaling. But yeah, more upside for NZ USD, but I think a little bit more downside first before that happens. That might be the same thing for AUD USD as well. Might see a little bit more downside for this pair and then the upside, especially if we can hold this support here, because this is potentially our higher low. So nice push to the upside, potentially a higher low there. So if that support can remain intact, then I think we could be on for a nice move back into that trend line. Again, like I said, if we can break through that trend line, back into that resistance up there around the 0.75900 mark. NZD CAD, we did see quite a big push to the upside for this pair as well. Again, I said for this one, watch the daily close. If you can get a strong daily close, I think NZD CAD might be in reversal mode, so we could be seeing price reverse. You can see for quite some time now we've been in quite a bearish trend. I think it might be time for price to reverse and see some bullish momentum on the higher time frames. I'm talking daily, weekly, maybe even monthly. So potentially you could see that trend reverse. Like I was saying yesterday, we've got this bit of a bowl shape here. Price is coming down, finding support, and now it's giving us from making lower lows, and now it's gone to making higher lows. So potentially getting that ball shape there. And if you do keep that momentum, another retracement, another higher low, and then looking at more upside. So that's the opportunity I'll be looking for NZD CAD. So I'm pretty much long on a lot of these CAD pairs: NZD CAD, Euro CAD, Pound CAD, AD CAD, apart from USD CAD. Pretty much long. So it's telling me that CAD should be weak coming into the next week or maybe a couple of weeks or so. Of course, if the analysis does pan out. But yeah, it does look like we've seen some weakness in the CAD, and of course oil took that dive yesterday as well. So yeah, CAD is not looking good. CAD is not looking good. So yeah, waiting for that kind of opportunity there. But like I said, I'm more focusing on Euro CAD because it looks a little bit cleaner for me. But yeah, NZD CAD, kind of the same opportunity, slightly different because obviously you're trading NZD rather than Euro. But you know, we're looking for the weakness in the CAD there to take this higher up, and seeing some new highs potentially. So yeah, very strong close there on the daily. You want to see a bit of retracement to the downside, form a higher low somewhere. It'd be great if it was around here because we've got, you know, prior resistance, turn support, nice area of demand as well. So that'd be great if we come all the way down there, you know, double bottom, sorry, triple bottom, whatever, reject that area nicely. Then some longs taking that back up again, targeting that resistance, or you know, maybe some higher highs above it. But yeah, looking for some retracement for these pairs, and then I think some buying opportunities do look very good. But yeah, not just yet though, not just yet. I mean, AD CAD, not so much, to be fair, not so much. Obviously, NZD is a lot stronger than AUD at this moment in time, hence why NZD CAD has seen all that momentum, whereas AD CAD is kind of messing around a little bit. We did have this trend line here in the market, which price has broken through it, to be fair. It has broken through that trend line. So we technically can see some upside, but we've got all these wicks in these areas here, which is just, you know, creating an obstacle for price to break through. You can see all those wicks there. We've wicked into it a couple of times again. We see all these wicks here as well. We've wicked into that multiple times. So there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of areas where sellers can get involved and take AD CAD back down. So NZD CAD, a lot cleaner price action. Not much noise there. If you can see a nice pullback, I think NZD CAD is a great pair to look to go long on. And Euro CAD as well, great pair to look to go long on as well. AD CAD, not so much currently speaking. That could change later on, but yeah, with all that noise, I think I'll probably just focus on those other two pairs. And again, for this one, we're rejecting that resistance as well, so it's not looking too good, but you know, we'll see how it develops. Normally, NZD CAD, AD CAD normally follow each other anyway. So if NZD CAD was to break to the upside and see those new highs and, you know, reverse, there's a good chance AD CAD will probably reverse with it as well. So it's not that NZD CAD is going to go up and AD CAD is just going to continue bearish, because they're most likely going to continue in the same direction as each other. So like I said, don't have to trade them both, just pick the better one. And for me, clearly NZD CAD is the better one, so we'll be focusing on that pair. AD CAD could well break to the upside, but it's just not looking too clear. And like I said, too much noise on the left, too many levels where sellers will get involved, try and take this down again, just like what we happened here. But yeah, we'll be focusing on the NZD or Euro. CAD JPY on the other hand, like I said, we could see more downside for this one, which would again tie it in with the CAD weakness that we're expecting to see. So price has dipped below that key level of 88,200. As you can see, as talked about earlier, key resistance there. So if you can do like a retest, that would be great, and see the downside come back in again, which ties in with the CAD weakness. CAD CHF with this one as well, very, very weak currently. You can see on the daily, if I zoom out, we've had quite a big drop to the downside there. Price has reached that resistance there, rejected it multiple times, and then collapsed to the downside. So price overall, CAD CHF is still very bearish. Right now, it looks like we've wicked to the upside, and now we're starting to see that follow through to the downside again. So yeah, I can see CAD CHF coming back into this support down here, which again ties in with that CAD weakness. So we're seeing pretty much all the board from a technical aspect as well. We're seeing CAD weakness pretty much across the board. So yeah, it does look good for Euro CAD longs and NZD CAD longs when they do form. They're not quite ready yet, but yeah, if I do see an opportunity that is worth taking, I will let you guys know in the Telegram channel. So if you haven't, excuse me, just burped, my bad. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you go check that channel out. It's in the live chat, also the description down below, so make sure you go check that out. But yeah, if I do get an opportunity, I will let you guys know. Yeah, we did get some pound news, actually, Mr. B. We actually did get some pound news earlier on, and that caused some strength for the pound. It was trying to see where it is now. Yeah, it was Saunders' speech at 11 a.m. GMT. So yeah, that's what caused some of the pound news, some of the pounds to go up. It said it was medium impact on a lot of the Forex calendars. My FX book, which is the one I use, said it was medium impact, but Forex Factory did say it was news. And also James was explaining why he thinks it was going to be a high impact news, and as you can see, it kind of was high impact, giving that push to the upside there. UCC Chef, what happened there? Yeah, we are starting to see the price pull back again, so we'll see what happens with that. I mean, yeah, good profit anyway. It depends where you exit, but yeah, it's a good trade, good profit, even if you do exit where the price is now. But yeah, I'm trying to stick to my plan here, so I don't want to, because if I exit now, it's going to be off emotions, not off my plan. So we'll be staying in UCC Chef, seeing it through. If it starts to violate structure, then I might look to exit or take a little bit more partials off the table. I already have taken about 75% off currently, so I'm leaving a little bit on. So again, my emotions are not too attached with this trade right now. So it'd be great to see this trade, reverse, come back down again. But if it does want to break to the upside, so be it. Got this resistance here around 0.91500, looking if it could come back, retest that, come back to the downside, that'll be great. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We had a really nice 4H candle closure just gone, so the momentum is very much bearish again, so I'm not gonna exit too early. But if you do start to break structure, then yeah, I'll look to exit as well. Yeah, I think you need to write down a plan, because that's what I do. I write down a plan when I get into the trades, so I know exactly what I'm going to do when I'm going to take profit. So in this situation here, for example, price is pushing quite aggressively to the upside, and no me, I want to close my trade and just take the profit and run, but I know that according to my plan, if it starts to break through this resistance here, then I'll probably look to close the trade or potentially take partials, depending how it broke it. But yeah, that's when I'll probably look to exit the trade. Right now, if I close the trade, it's off pure emotions, and in the long run, going off emotions doesn't really work. I tried to use my emotion for the last first year, and that did not end well. So yeah, having stuff written down, sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't, but at least you're consistent, at least you're disciplined as well. So yeah, it's pushing to the upside. Like I said to myself beforehand, I'll see what happens at that resistance up there, if it can break through it or not. And also I did say I'll probably wait for the news if price does push back up again and see what the news does. I've already banked 75% of my profit, so psychology is balanced. I'm not having my full position on that. We'll see what happens there. Pound USD as well, there's many times where price is pushed up, pushed for me, pushed against me, pushed for me, pushed against me, a little bit of a roller coaster. Now the news is actually taking price back into my direction. But yeah, I'm not going to get too excited because, you know, when price was over here and started to come back down again from that trend line, I was thinking, let me just close the trade, let me just close the trade. But I know, you know, that's not what I have written down on my plan. And when you get to, you know, the next step, when you get to manage more capital, you know, and you're seeing a lot more money in your account, you know, emotions are going to come a lot when that happens. And if you can't control your emotions now, it's going to be very difficult to control in the future. So, you know, just have a little plan written down of what you're going to do, and yeah, just try hard to stick to that. And that's what I tried to do. Gold, let me check it, see what's happening with that pair. Your gold's taking a dive to the downside. Again, like I said, I'm not getting involved with gold yet. I was expecting to see that break to the upside, but now I'm expecting price to come back to this area here, 1850. So that's when I'll get involved in some gold shorts. Although I do see gold coming down, retracing a little bit after that spike to the upside, but I do think gold is still bullish, still on its way up. So I can still see price reaching that area here. I think it's coming down now to find some support, retrace a little bit, and then continue back to the upside. But yeah, I'm firmly bullish on gold until 1850, which is this resistance here. Nice area of supply, nice drop to the downside. Until there, that's when I turn bearish and I look for sells. But yeah, for me, I'm just going to leave gold alone right now unless it comes back down to retap this area here. So comes back down, retests it, and then continues back up again. Then maybe I might look for buying opportunities. But for now, I'm just going to leave gold do its thing. You know, and when it gets into this area here, then I'll look for some sells to take that back down again. So here, I'm just not going to really focus on the price action. But looking at the lower time frames, it looks like it's definitely found some resistance, you know, especially with that change of momentum there. So we might be seeing some downside, maybe the retest of that area there, and then price might come back up again. But like I said, I'm not going to get involved into until 1850 up there. USDJPY. Yeah, like I said, for USDJPY as well. You know, for USDJPY, depending where you got on, you put where you got in, you probably got in around there. You know, you've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bearish candles there in a row for USDCHF. You know, we're due some retracement, we're due a bullish candle, especially on the 4H as well, after those 6 bearish candles. So, you know, looking at this from a higher time point of view, because we're looking at capturing the pullback of the move. So prices come back, pull back. We'll look to capture that of that move. And the chance of price, you know, if you look at that bearish candle there on the daily, we've engulfed 1, 2 whole daily candles there. The momentum on the daily is very much to the downside. Obviously, it could reverse, but looking at from what price action is right now, it's very strong close to the daily for the daily there to the downside. Hardly any wick to the downside. The odds of price filling that gap to the downside and giving us some new lows is quite high. So, you know, I'll still stay in that trade despite the bullishness that we're seeing right now. So yeah, I'll still be holding that trade. We do have, if we're going the hourly time frame, we do have a nice area of supply here around the 110.50 mark, or maybe this support and resistance up there. Prior support will be term resistance. If it starts breaking through that, then yeah, I'll probably close the trade. But yeah, that's an important thing about taking partials as well. As price is coming down, take partials. Helps with your psychology and helps make sure you bank profit despite whatever happens, you know, fundamentals or whatever. But yeah, from a technical speaking, looking at the higher time frames 4H, you know, we're bound to see, if we're going to 4H, we're bound to see a bullish candle before price gets to your TP. This could be the bullish candle. We could see price come up again. It might mess around and then see some more downside. So yeah, I wouldn't go to panic stations just yet. Maybe if we start breaking past 110, 100, then yeah, maybe panic stations, or just take some partials off right now, help with your emotions. But yeah, I still see more downside for USDJPY. I still see more downside for this one. But yeah, it would due retracement sometime or sooner or later. It would be nice if price was to come hit the TP and then start to do its bullish retracement. But it looks like it might be doing it just before we do see that continuation. So if I was you, I would hold on, but you know, do what you feels right. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to say hold on to the trade and then price just, you know, rockets to the upside and takes away all your profits. So I don't want that to happen. even though that could happen. But if I was you, that's what I would do. And kind of same thing for USD as well. This one's pushing to the upside. As much as I want to close that trade right now, I know you can still see more downside, and I don't want to miss out on that opportunity, because the aim of the game really is to let your winners run, hold your losers. And I know that's a nice sign to say, okay, I'm gonna get out of the trade, but I like following structure, and that's where we've had that pullback there previously. So if it breaks through that, then we've technically broken structure, and then we could turn bullish from there on. But I know that if we can hold this structure here, there's a good chance the market will fall to the downside there again as well. So I'm going to hold on to that. But yeah, do whatever you think is best. But that's just my opinion at the end of the day, because I don't want to say that and price go against you. I mean, USD is still looking at shorts for this one, but like I said, still holding on to that support. So still not overly confident with shorts there yet. And also with that daily close that we had yesterday, price spiked to the downside, pulled all the way back up. That's not a good look for me looking to sell that. It's nice in terms of thinking price could potentially go and fill that wick to the downside. But it also shows rejection as well. So it's not filling me up with too much confidence. If you can break through this support, that'll be great. But yeah, we're still resting on that. So we'll see what happens there with USD CAD. We're not seeing much bullish momentum to the upside, so that's a good sign saying, yeah, we could be actually breaking this and filling that gap to the downside. But yeah, I'll probably wait for that to happen first. Or maybe if price was to come up, make another lower high like it did with that wick, and that could sell it back down into that support and then into that support there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But like I said, still on 2 trades at the moment in time, and I want to close one first before I look to take in another position. EuroCAD still looks good, coming to the downside. Again, treating this all as retracement. As you can see, we're taking out some nice structural levels there, 1, 2, giving us some new highs after that bearish news for the CAD. And now looking at some retracement, nice area support there, 1, 2. If we can come back, reject that area, that'll be great. I can see some nice long opportunities back into that resistance there. And then if we're lucky, back into those highs and maybe even some higher highs as well. So EuroCAD definitely on the watch list, but like I said, I want to get a trade closed first. It's funny that now that you said that, Chi, I can just see USD skyrocketing to the upside now. Now that you said I would hold on to it, I can just see USD going to the upside. But yeah, I'm just being honest, speaking what I think will happen. But yeah, at the end of the day, we have no idea what's going to happen to USD. We have no idea. We can't see into the future. We don't know. I'm just going off of past experience in the markets, and that's what I would do. But yeah, I mean, as long as you're taking some profit, you got your stop loss to break even, you're not risking any of your capital, nothing bad should really happen. Euro NZD is still pushing to the upside, so that still looks like a good opportunity there. Starting to find a bit of resistance, but still looking like a good opportunity there. Price is still pushing up again. Euro NZD still on for a move back into that support resistance there, so still looks good. Just losing a bit of its momentum right now, and as you can see, this is this is clearly the impulsive move. This is the pullback, so it's going to be a bit choppy, but if it can fight through that, which so far is doing, I can see a move back into that resistance up there, 1.69400. Euro GBP very, very, very bearish here. As you can see, obviously the news has had a big impact on that, but we've come back to tap the resistance. This is kind of like a similar setup to USD what I've got on right now, of price coming down, pull back, finding that resistance, coming down again, coming back into that resistance, and hopefully we can see price reject to the downside. Again, if I go and use the CHF right now, and move this out of the way. You can see we've had this big move to the downside, found resistance, come down again. So hopefully you can come up, reject that area, and then see more downside. Obviously one can dream, but that's looking very bullish, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's what I have in my head of price coming back down again. If it is to come back down, that's what it probably would look like. USD JPY. As well, this one as well, hopefully you can come out, reject one of these areas here, resistance there or resistance there, last but not least that support there, then come down. And also another tip as well to help with emotions as well when you're running in trades, running in profit, I try to always wait for a closed candle to act on my trade, either to take partials or actually no, I lie. If it's hitting a target, if it's not, if it's still open, I would exit the trade. But say for UCCHF, since it's going against me right now, I'll definitely wait for a candle closure there, or if it pulls back into this resistance, I'll definitely wait for a candle closure to act on the trade, because it's looking very bullish now, but we've still got 20 minutes left before their candle closes. It could still pull back down as well, so tend to wait for the candle closes to act when it's going against me. If it's going for me, it's hitting my targets, I won't wait for the candle to close. But if it's going against me, tend to wait for that, because it also helps calm me down and actually see what the market's giving me rather than just acting on my emotions, which doesn't normally do me any good. TP 1.695. So yeah, basically at that support term resistance around about there. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If I was in that trade, that's probably where I'll be targeting as well. I'll probably be seeing if price can get above there, but because of that dodgy close in that trend line, yeah, I'll probably be targeting that as well. So yeah, it looks like a good trade there, Chia. But yeah, it's just a little bit choppy because I think it is the retracement of that. So we might be seeing that choppy price action continue in your direction back up to that resistance. But yeah, so far price does look good to hit there, but is in a bit of resistance right now. Pound USD. Yeah, Pound USD is looking bullish. Like for this pair, my bias is firm to the upside. I'll just move that out of the way. My bias is firm to the upside for this pair. It's looking like we are getting some higher lows in the market here, so it looks like potentially all this bearish momentum might be dying out, and we might be seeing some bullish momentum back to the upside for Pound USD. You can see here we've got this low here, higher low, potentially a higher low, and looking for price to give us a higher high and test this 1.4 area. So the market has come back down to retest this support here in the market. Really nice push that gave us a move back up to 1.4, 1.38. We've come back to retest that again, giving us a higher low potentially. And then yeah, currently in a long trade looking for that move to 1.4. So any opportunities, I'd wait for buys for this one. Currently the news has had a nice effect on this one, pushing it to the upside, so I'll probably leave it alone after that, wait for price to settle back down, and then wait for a bit of retracement, then get involved in some buying opportunities back again. A nice opportunity would be the break and retest of that trend line. So price was to come, retrace back down, retest the trend line, then look for some buys there. That'd be a nice opportunity, or break and retest of this resistance here in the market, which is around 1.39. So if you can break through that, pull back again, and then buy back into that. Yeah, 1.39 price has definitely been a big level. 1.4 has been a big level as well. 1.4 has held all this price action across here. If I take that across, this area here, 1.4, you can see price has held that. It broke it, started to turn bullish, got back below it again. So 1.39, 1.4, very key levels in the market, which price is trading at. So I'm looking for a break of 1.39, and then price filling that range back up to 1.4. We'll exit my trade there if we can get there, of course. And yeah, if we can break 1.4, I think there's a good chance price will probably come back to these highs up here. Another attempt at breaking 1.42 and seeing if price can, you know, really kick off in that bullish trend again, like we saw for the past few months for GPUSD. But yeah, biases to the upside for pound USD, and yeah, so far we need a break of this trend line and a break of 1.39. But I think when that happens here, nice break and retest of any of those areas of the trend line, all that support, I think it's a good opportunity to fill that gap in back up to 1.4. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now for pound USD. Pound AUD, yeah. So pound AUD, I was actually looking for shorting opportunities for this pair to take it back down again. However, the news came in for pound and obviously was very bullish for it. And as you can see, has taken us to the upside again. So if I go on the daily chart, you can see for this one, we had all these wicks here. Price was losing all that momentum, and I was expecting to see today be nice bearish and see a nice drop to the downside for this pair. And we also got this ascending channel as well, connecting those lows and those highs. So the market is currently trading at the upper trend line there. So I was expecting to see a dive, and we can still see that dive to the downside. But of course, with the news coming in for pound, GBP right now is very strong pretty much across all pairs. So obviously pound AUD has found that strength and now it's pushed to the upside and fell to break through 1.85. So for me, it's a sticky one here because pound AUD, I don't really want to buy the pair, but it looks like price might break the trend line and continue if that pound strength does follow through and continue. So yeah, I would probably wait for this one. If anything, wait to see if price can come back down, have another aggressive sell-off, you know, give us a lower high and then sell it back down again. I think that's the best opportunity I'll be waiting for. I don't really want to be looking for selling opportunities at here because it's just too aggressive in my opinion, and you know, it can be easily exposed. Price can push past, you know, wick, give some higher highs before coming back down again. So yeah, I don't want to sell it there, a little bit too exposed. So I'll probably wait for price to come back down again like it's done previously, you know, give us a lower high, then sell it back down again, and then I think selling opportunities back into the lows of that daily trend line there. If I just zoom out back into the lows of that trend line, so I can see the opportunity still happening despite the news right now. But like I said, pound is very, very strong, and if that does follow through, you know, we could break through the trend line and go a lot further. So for me, going to be in a bit of the sidelines for pound AUD, wait for price to develop a little bit further, see if you can get some strength coming back down again. You can see on the hourly time frame, price is still looking very bullish. Obviously this is the same hourly candle from the news, but yeah, I'll wait for a lot more to happen. I can see the market sell off again, but I personally wouldn't take it. Yeah, I personally wouldn't take it, even though I think we can sell off. It's just a bit too aggressive for me, and price, especially with the news like that, can just consolidate for a little bit, you know, get people involved in those shorts, and then, you know, push on again later in the day. So yeah, I'll probably wait for price to sell off again, something like it did here, bit of retracement, give us a lower high, then take it down from there. And if that does happen, we could see a really nice drop into that lower trend line around the 1.83 500 mark. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking for pound AUD. More downside for this pair, but the news has kind of messed it up and it's looking very bullish. So we'll stay away from it for now and keep my eye on it. Let me take a look now. So 1.176. Oh damn! All the way to new lows. Fair play. A little bit aggressive in my opinion. A little bit aggressive. To be fair, it might not actually be aggressive. That might just be my head talking to me, because from a technical standpoint, the market is still bearish. You can see all these lower lows, lower highs there in the market. So seeing another lower low, isn't definitely going against nature or anything. It's definitely what the market could actually do. The DXY, for me, I can still see downside for this pair. And that's why I personally wouldn't do it. And that's why I'm a bit skeptical about this move. But I could be wrong. I think back down to this support would be a good target for me personally, if I was shorting that. You can see these pullbacks are quite aggressive, so it does look like Euro USD is starting to run out of steam to the downside soon, and eventually might see some upside. So yeah, I'll probably target that support, maybe take off 75 or 80% of your profit, and then see if you can let the rest run to around that 1.17688 mark. Forget a fib on that move there. So it has retraced that much. It could see some more downside. Could go hit the minus 0.27 mark there, which is obviously past your target. But yeah, I'll probably say that is probably where you look to be aiming for. It might reverse and go back up again, because I think the DXY might turn weak. But yeah, from a technical standpoint, the low lows and low highs are there. So if you're looking to take advantage of this trend, I'll probably say target those lows here, because we're seeing some aggressive pullbacks, which is not the best thing that you want to see when you're looking to continue the trend. Because when the market starts to have too many pullbacks, it does mean the trend is starting to tire, and we might be looking at a reversal soon. Doesn't mean it's going to reverse, it just might mean potentially a reversal might come soon. Because this one, still overall still bearish. But yeah, I'll target there. I would target around there if I was you, or take a fair bit of your profit off, and then let the rest run to your 1.17688 target. But no, the 4 hours looking quite bearish there. So if you can get close, similar to how it's looking right now, you can see Euro USD is looking quite bearish there as well. So if it does continue, there's a lot more mileage to the downside there. And so far, it looks like a good trade there, Jermaine. Well done. Yeah, so guys, it's coming up to the end of the live stream. Got another 10 minutes before I look to end it. So if anyone's looking at any different pairs currently to trade, or or wants my opinion, drop it in the chat. We'll take a look at it before the live stream ends. Or if you know any trades as well, feel free to share, take a look, see what's going on, discuss it. Feel free to share or take a look at it before the live stream ends. But yeah, still currently in pound USD and USD CHF. We're going to see what happens with these pairs. USD CHF is pushing to the upside quite a lot there, but we'll see what happens at that 0.91500 mark. Very, very, very bullish candle, and we'll see what happens at that mark. I remember pound USD, I was in this short trade from last week. From there, we had a big push to the upside there. Price spiked up and then came straight back down in the next 3 hours. So we saw 3 hours of a lot of bullish momentum. It was trying to scare me, which it did do scare me actually. I was short from around here, had a nice drop, and then it started to retrace. And we saw all that bullish momentum come to the upside. And I did take some more partials off, and I was gonna close it eventually if it broke past this prior low here. But it did came back to retest that, and it saw a nice big shift to the downside. So, don't want to get out too easily for my trades, because that was quite a big thing for me previously, which I have kind of got control over again. But you know, when prices get into good profit and then a reverse, most of the time, you know, 6-7 times out of 10, it was just a pullback for price to continue my direction and go and hit my TP, and you know, four or three times it was actually, you know, reversing to take me out. But you know, what I'd find is if I just let the trade and I actually just walk away and not even monitor really, I'll be more profitable than I would have if I just, you know, exit the trade when it's pulling up against me. So we'll see what happens with USD It's looking very bullish, but like I said, this is a very key level of resistance. See what the market wants to do there. I mean, it's very bullish. It probably will break through, but then we'll see what happens after there. So you can find a bit of resistance. I mean, the 4 hour still's got two hours left to close. Let's see what that candle wants to do. We did see a big drop, 1-2 candles there. It might want to retrace a little bit before coming back down again, and I will still remain in the trade if it wants to do that, because I can still see more downside for USD. And like I said, I already have banked most of my profit anyway, so you know, I shouldn't really worry too much if price is going to push up again. Pound USD starting to pull back now. Again, that news effect is starting to die off, and we're starting to see the rejection of that trend line. And again, obviously USD has found some strength as well. You can see DXY is starting to push up. So yeah, GPUSD is starting to pull back, but I think for me, I'm more monitoring the 4 hour close rather than the hourly close for me, because I've got this trend line here on the 4H, and I want to see if we can get a nice 4 hour candle close above the area to see the breakout and see the upside. So that's what I'll be looking for. Not going to be too stressed about the hourly closures. Mainly focusing on the 4H, which still does have about 2 hours left before the candle does. So yeah, we'll see how this candle goes. So far it's looking bullish, so you know, nothing too much to worry about, but we'll see how it goes on. Yeah, Jermaine, no problem, man. No problem. Happy to help. And yeah, if I do get a signal, I will let you guys know. Like I said, EuroCAD longs and NZD-CAD longs are the pairs I'm looking at. NZD-CAD still has a little bit of a way to go, so I don't think I'll be looking at this pair too much today. Still has a long way to go before I get interested, so it might not happen today. So I think EuroCAD will probably be my main focus. It's not too far away from that support, which I do think we can get a nice bounce to and see some upside. So I will be taking a look at EuroCAD a lot throughout the day, so you can get a nice bounce with that support. And if I do get any confirmations, any opportunities, I will let you guys know and stick it in the Telegram. But yeah, I'll let you guys know, stick it in the Telegram, and see if we can get a nice push back up again. But yeah, I might not take the EuroCAD if I do post it, because I want to see how USD CHF and how pound USD get through. Or if I do take it, it might be lowered risk, like 50% of my usual size or 25%, because I don't want to start getting into over trading and you know, damage my account. So yeah, EuroCAD main pair I'll be focusing on. So if I do post something, it's probably likely going to be EuroCAD. Yeah, I do agree with that. Having multiple entries is good, and especially setting your TPs as well for each entry, so you know, you can pretty much be on autopilot and just let the trade work for you. Of course, if it's a winner. I mean, I've always had one position and just take off profit as I go along. It's a little bit more trickier. It is a bit more trickier, but I've always done it. So you know, I'm just going to stick to that, and I've always stuck to it. So, but yeah, I do realize that multiple positions is probably the better way, especially if you know, you're starting to get into that, taking partials and stuff. I probably would recommend to do that, but you know, I've always done it, so that's just my preference, and that's just, you know, what I do. Yeah, can I check USDCHF? Of course I can. USDCHF is looking very bullish right now. I'm currently in a short trade from up there. It's come back down, looking for a move back into 0.9100, which is just down there, not too far away before price wants to start pushing up again. So for USDCHF for this pair, you can see overall we are still very, not very, because we did have this big move to the upside. The market is starting to turn bullish here. Bearish, what am I going on? Can't speak right now. But yeah, the market is, well, was previously bullish, but it's starting to turn bearish now. You can see we had a nice push, pull back, push, double top there. So the market's come up once, rejected that area, come up again, rejected that area. And then here we were looking at the retest of that neckline there. So as you can see, price support, turn resistance. It's because I've been talking for 2 hours, so you know, I'm just stumbling over my words right now, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, the market's rejected that support, now turn resistance, which was the neckline there, and we saw a really nice bearish close there yesterday. So I'm looking for that momentum to continue to the upside. It well could be we might mess around for a couple of days before we do see that continuation, but yeah, I'm biased to the downside for USDCHF. We're coming back into some resistance. We are seeing a lot of strength. We are seeing a lot of strength in the US dollar right now, so we are pushing to the upside. And I think we might be seeing a bit of retracement to the upside, but yeah, I think it's just going to be retracement for now. So yeah, I think if we do push up, it's likely just going to be retracement for price to come back down. But yeah, it is an awfully bullish candle there for USDCHF. So we'll see what happens really. I mean, my entry's all the way up here, so my entry's all the way up there, so you know, I'm quite protected as well. But it might push, mess around, come back down again. If we do break through that support there, I'll probably look to take some more profit off the table and let the rest run. But yeah, I think after that bullish candle there, USDCHF is likely to see some upside and potentially come back down again. But I think I'm probably just hoping at that point. AUD/JPY, more downside for this pair. As you can see, the market's had quite a nice run to the upside down the hourly. We formed support here, rejected it a few times, 1, 2, 3. Now we finally have the strength to break through, and now we're rejecting that resistance here on the hourly. So if we can maintain that resistance, we'll come back up again to retest it, which is great. So if we do keep that up again, I can see AUD/JPY falling to the downside, coming into that support around 81,500. So the market is looking bearish, and I think only looking for shorts really for this pair. We do have that trend line as well, so it would be nice to see a nice wick into that trend line, reject that resistance at the same time. But yeah, it could well fall without doing that. But I think generally this area here, if we can just reject this area here as resistance on the hourly, I think some nice good selling opportunities back down into these lows. If we actually break through to the upside past that resistance, past the trend line, then this price action here is probably just a false break of that support, and then we might be seeing some upside if that happens. But for now, we're holding as resistance, so I think downside for AUD/JPY, as long as we stay underneath that, get above it, change bias, longs back into that resistance up there. Yeah, so yeah, if your stop loss is at entry, you should be fine. I mean, that's quite an aggressive close there. But yeah, monitor the momentum, see if it does continue in breaking through these areas. If it does, yeah, I'll probably look to close it. I mean, again, it was not too far away from TP as well. So yeah, if it does really start to pull away, and then yeah, I'll probably close that. But yeah, it could well come back down. To come back into nice area of resistance, it could well come back down. USDCHF has closed into my resistance, but yeah, it's an awfully bullish candle. We're on the lower time frames, 15 minutes, just a rocket to the upside. So yeah, it's not looking good, I'll be honest there, it's not looking good, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's come up to 12 PM guys, so I will be looking to end the live stream as of now. But like always, going to do a quick rundown on some of the pairs that we looked at earlier. Also some pairs that I've got on the watch list for later on, and any pairs that I'm currently trading at the moment. So USD currently trading at the moment. Entry up there, stop loss just above those highs, and target all the way down there-ish. We pushed to the upside, so again treating this as a pullback. This here was our last lower high, sorry. So technically we should reject this area and come back down again, but if we want to break structure, the market is likely to break through and go much higher. If that's the case, I'll probably look to maybe just completely exit my position if that momentum does continue. But yeah, that's an awfully bullish candle there, so momentum is definitely not in my favor, and it looks like USD has found some strength, so you might be seeing some upside for this pair. USD is similar as well, quite bullish there, not as bullish as USD, but again, bias is still to the downside. I still can see price pushing into these lows. It might be a situation where price comes up, messes around for a bit, and then comes down. But like I said, my bias to the downside, unless we start to form some bullish structure coming back up again on the 4H, then I'll probably change it, but it's still bearish right now. Pound USD, again, currently in the long trade for that one. Entry back a couple of days ago, but want to see how price can develop past that trend line. Targets at 1.4, bias is firmly to the upside. If it does break this low 1.38, then I think price is likely to come a lot further and probably test 1.37. If that's the case, obviously hit stop loss, and I'll probably look for sells. But right now, firmly biases to the upside, and I'm looking at that as potentially the next higher low, and targets at 1.4. So a break and retest of that trend line would be a nice entry, or a break of 1.39 and the retest of that would be a nice entry. So yeah, only buys there. GJ buys as well, but I think we missed this opportunity. I was looking for price to come a little bit further, come and test this area before pushing up again, but as you can see, it's kind of found support just before that, and the news took this a lot higher up. So yeah, pound JPY kind of missed the opportunity, but if that momentum does keep up, then I do see pound JPY seeing some upside and back at 154. NZD CAD, I can see some nice buying opportunities for this one, but I do want this one to sell off first. You can see on the daily chart we're getting this nice bowl opportunity there, gone from making lower lows to higher lows, and if we do keep that up, I think we can see a bit of a reversal to the upside, maybe coming back into these highs up there. So yeah, NZD CAD, I'm seeing more upside for this one, but like I said, first I want to see a bit more retracement, maybe a push back down into this area. I think this area as well would interest me as well if you do reject that, but either there or there, we'll be looking for buying opportunities for NZD CAD, and again, if I do have a opportunity for that one, we'll let you guys know on the Telegram. And yeah, EuroCAD, definitely a pair got on my watch list, looking for some upside for this one. Quite some time we've been consolidating and looking for price to finally break to the upside. Nice bullish candle there on the daily. Again, it was help from the news, but yeah, looking to catch a bit of retracement to the downside, see if we can find some support around 1.47700, and then we'll target that resistance there, and then the highs up there if you can break through that. But yeah, looking for buys for EuroCAD, and yeah, if I get an opportunity, we'll let you guys know. No problem. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for joining the stream, and thank you for subbing to the channel. It does mean a lot. And yeah, if anyone else has enjoyed the stream, your first time here or second time here, and you're still wondering whether you should subscribe to me or not, yeah, please do. That would be great. Hopefully that will convince you. I don't have a trade on USD CAD. I've got a trade on USD CHF. I think that's probably what you're talking about. Yeah, that was taken yesterday around 1, I believe. Yeah, that was taken around yesterday around 1 PM GMT. Thank you, John, for joining the live stream. Does mean a lot, mate. Yeah, have a good day. Everyone have a good week, because again, I'm not streaming until next week Tuesday. So I hope you guys have a good weekend, great week. Thanks for joining the live stream. It does mean a lot. From Ghana, you love to see it. Big up Ghana. Thank you for joining the live stream, everyone. It has come to the end, sadly. I know you'll miss me, I'll miss you as well. But yeah, live stream again next week from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. GMT, 12 p.m. GMT. Be there or be square. But yeah, guys, have a good weekend. If you haven't checked out my Telegram channel, make sure you go do that. Link in the description below. But yeah, end of the live stream. Thanks for joining, guys, and until the next one, I will catch you guys later.